Well, good morning internets. Here we are. Have a little bit of a chilly day ahead of us. But again, it's par for the course for this time of year. Could be a lot worse. And yeah, welcome to our vlog. So here we go. Well, here we are the day after the, day before, where the furnace guys and everybody were in doing, what they needed to do to get the job done. It's kind of weird to know that one of your goals has been accomplished, and two of the three things that I wanted to get done this year have been done. So, we can scratch that off the list. Started off in the spring, of course, doing the east troughing and getting that all squared away, which was a project that's been, 10 years in the making. And just finished with the hot water heater and furnace, which really was another one of those 10-year in the making projects, really, because it should have been changed when I first moved in. However, they didn't have the money, didn't really know any better at the time, and it was working, so really why change it? However, when a furnace is not as efficient as what it needs to be, nor is it working like it needs to be, and it's starting to cost you money, so replace it, right? They get old enough, you can't find control boards for them, and I forget what they called a couple of those parts. They actually had to use another brand and make them work because they don't have parts anymore for those furnaces. And we replaced the motor a couple of years ago when I was doing the basement project there in, I think it was spring of 2016 or 2015, I forget when it was there. So it's only a couple of seasons old, that motor, and you spend $1,000 repairing a furnace that is not 100% efficient by far, and then it's really not working properly the next winter. So do you put another $1,000 into it, or do you just replace it? I know, it's expensive and stuff like that, what I did, but at the same time, it's for the future. Every move I try to make, even going by back years, always tries to be calculated somewhat, and tries to benefit in the future somehow. Just think if the plumbing, the copper lines wouldn't have been redone. When I moved into this house, it had the old galvanized steel tubing, almost looked like gas lines for water lines. That's just the way they were done back then. If those wouldn't have been changed out then, we probably would have had to have done them eventually, or they would have needed to have been done this time. Because, obviously they start to corrode. I wasn't YouTubing then, and or else I could have got pictures and stuff to show, but there was some areas in the pipes where I made the cuts, and it was smaller diameter than a pencil. So there definitely was restrictions on the water flow. There were buildup of minerals and other stuff in the line. So by changing out the copper then, it made this job easier. And I asked the plumber guy, is the copper okay? Is everything fine? And if there's no corrosion or buildup on the inside, and he says where they made the cuts were clean as a whistle. So hey, why not, right? Why change out something that is working just to have new, and it's not broke, so leave it alone, right? Well, with the old furnace, I want the motor out of it, and probably end up just scrapping the rest. It'd be neat to do a dissection video on it, take the heat exchanger out, take the burners out, stuff like that. However, truth be told, the way things go in my life, you know, it's probably just going to get the motor pulled and the rest of it go. Well, now that that job is done, I want to put the basement back together. I got a shelf I want to rebuild or reassemble. It was positioned right where the hot water heater was positioned, or is now, and I want to move it onto the other wall, so I got my long-term type storage back for boxes and containers and stuff I really haven't used in 20 years, but still can't bring myself to throw away, and clean out the media room and get that all good to go, because, you know, you never know, Christmas time's coming, people might be buying new couch sets and furniture, so the old furniture might be up for grabs, so if I start low budget build, it might come together by summertime. And of course, give the basement itself a general cleanup, and all will be well. Sometime today I'd like to run out and check the fan mail box. If I don't do it today, I'll try to do it tomorrow, but it's one of them things that always seems to snowball, right? There's only so many hours in a day, and a lot of stuff going on. And phone calls, emails, personal things that a guy's trying to work through, as well as keeping the whole video thing going and dealing with all the stuff that comes up from all that, and, you know, shooting new content, figuring out new content, editing old content, and it's a never-ending full-time hobby. You can't really call her a job, because a job tends to pay the bills, or somewhat pay the bills. A hobby is something you do in your spare time that's kind of expensive, that you haven't yet realized that you don't need to be doing. So pretty much, guys, gonna go in, see what's the what for the day, probably get a few things going and rolling, and yeah, we'll catch y'all later. Well, good evening, internet. Here we are. We come to the end of another day. Well, it was one of those days once again. Did manage to get a couple things done. Not quite as much progress as I wanted to make, but well, that's the way she goes sometimes. Tomorrow, still probably working around the yard, working around the house. Want to get a few things done. With the cool weather, the leaves are starting to fall off the tree, and got to put a few things away to get prepared for the eventual snow and well, winter. I got a few more things I would like to try to tackle before, well, I shut her on down and well, kind of succumb to the winter's embrace. One of the biggest things is to put the patio set away, you know, clean up the yard, and I would like to maybe do a half a trim on my trees and stuff, because I got a little bit of wood in this garbage trailer, and I don't want to make a dump run for such a small amount. So if I can fill it up, then it kind of makes worth the run. Well, of course, got to do another uploads to the video platforms, get them all squared away for the upcoming days. The demo derbies have been on YouTube now for a few days. However, they're not scheduled or, you know, live or anything yet, except for, I think, Heat 1 and Mid-Size will be going live here one of these days. And so far, other than the little temper tantrum that it had there a few days ago, the videos have been now deemed as suitable, and everything's fine. So I think I'm going to schedule the demo derbies and put them on through, and I guess it'll be what it is. You know, everything has trade-offs, everything has ups and downs, and if you want to put your videos on their site, sometimes you gotta play by their rules and put up with their head games that they play. You know, VidMe hasn't took off like I wanted it to in terms of getting verified, in terms of, you know, getting all that good to go. Even other people that have had less followers than me, and even less uploaded videos than me, were verified after I was. However, you know, it is what it is. You know, after spending 7 years of your life making videos in 10 years of your life on YouTube to give it all up because of whatever's may or may not work out in your favor in the end anyway. So kind of stay where you're at. It's what you know, and well, if something bigger happens, then we'll deal with it then. But gonna end her all here. Today was a good day. Tomorrow was another one. Remember, we do have a post office box for all your fan mail needs. And around we go. And as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's Vlogs. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.